Today's guest is the definition of resilience. Stormi Steele went from college dropout to building Canvas Beauty into a multi-million-dollar empire. In this conversation, we talk about how she went from working as a local hairdresser to making $50 million in revenue, and that's just last year alone. How being held up at gunpoint set her on a path to becoming the #1 TikTok shop live seller, and the setback that nearly drove her into bankruptcy. Let me tell you, this conversation is packed with golden nuggets, inspiration, and lessons on lessons. Let's get into it.
Fresh out my kitchen, me and my husband, no employees. In a matter of 3 months, I had to build an infrastructure to support a $1 million a month. So here we are, 2020. I did $23 million in sales in 2020. I thought life was amazing. I was like, I won life.
Yeah.
And then I found out everything that I got in the bank is frozen. Everything.
I'm so excited to get into this conversation with you.
Too.
This is amazing. Obviously, you are a guest judge on 60 Day Hustle Season 2, which is amazing. And you've built this whole empire with Canvas Beauty. And I really want to dig into all of it.
Okay.
I really want to get into all of it. And the thing is, before we obviously got the cameras up, you were already giving the juiciest stories. So I was like, save it.
Wait, don't say no more. I was like, I talk about this all the time. I got you.
I was like, please, this is too good. This is like so good. And I think it's so extraordinary what you have built. I am so proud of you. It's amazing to actually know you now and just see how incredible the path that you've been on is, but also just like how much of a force you are. It's amazing. So
I feel like that about you though. That's what I was like when I came on set for 60 Day Hustle, I was like, that was the most professional, beautiful set I've ever been on. I mean, it was on time, it was nice. I felt right at home immediately. And like, this is you. Like, aww. I feel like that about you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh my God. Okay, so let's start, because you know, the big headline here is Canvas Beauty brand is becoming an empire. We know that. It is amazing.
Thank you.
Numbers, you talked about it on 60 Day Hustle, 50 million in revenue last year, which is like so amazing. That's all you, ground up. You've built this thing and now it's scaling and it's growing. But take me back to the beginning. I think it would be so amazing to understand like where this all started. Entrepreneurship for you. What was your upbringing and what inspired this?
How far you want to go back? You want to go back?
Back.
Here we go. The year is 2011. I was in school. I was an art major. I was getting a BFA in painting and I was minoring in photography. I had 24 credit hours left before graduation. And truthfully, I had started to feel very, very depressed to the point where I can be just open.
Yeah.
I was like considering suicide. And, but you know, deep down, you don't want to have these thoughts. You don't want to feel this way. So one night I was just in the fight for my life, literally. I ended up picking up my Bible and it was just like the one thing I just reached for because everybody said you found solace there. Like, so I was like, let me try it, you know? And I don't remember what I read and I really wish I could, but I don't. But I do remember that very same night, I ended up having a dream and I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and whatever was on my brain, I just started writing it down. And I wrote down Canvas. I wrote down Canvas Beauty. And I wrote down my mission statement is a female is the perfect canvas. She has the natural gift of beauty. Her beauty can never be diminished, only enhanced. And when she blossoms, she can be whatever she wants to be. And I kind of took that as a prerequisite to like that phase of my life. And I ended up feeling really good. I was like, intuitively, I knew, I was like, Storm, you gotta leave college. Like, don't finish.
Yeah.
I was like, go do whatever in your soul that you want to do. And at that time, I wanted to do hair, even though where I'm from, it was so frowned upon. Like, you're supposed to graduate, you're supposed to be a doctor, you're supposed to aspire to be a nurse, you're supposed to do something that's deemed successful. And where I'm from, doing hair is not that. Like, doing hair is like, you know, it's like, ew, you know?
But like when you say hair, like being like a hairdresser?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so that wasn't, so now hairdressers are like stylists, they're like celebrities, you know, they're doing stuff like, but that time, 2011, being from a no stoplight town called DeKalb, Mississippi, that was like not it. It was not the move. It was like, that's not success. And I knew nobody would understand it or, you know, resonate with it, but I had to do it. Because if I didn't, that was the difference between me moving forward with the excitement in the world or me no longer being in the world. So I jumped, I didn't go back to school. I told my mama, I was like, I'm done. I was like, I want to go to hair school. Because at that point, my logic was I got a year to graduate with these 24 credit hours that I need to get for my BFA. Or I can go spend a year and I can get my certification to be a hairstylist, right? And do this, legally.
Yeah.
And that's what I chose to do. My mama, she called me a dumb bitch. She did.
What? What's that? Wait, hold on. There's a lot to
I'm just
unpack.
gonna run past that.
Like, first of all, there's a lot to unpack. Could we go back to the moment of, you contemplating taking your life? Like, where were you? What was going on?
Oh, it was really bad. I try to, whenever I tell this part, I always try to go through it really fast.
Yeah.
So you done took me back.
I know. I'm taking you back. I'm taking you back.
I don't like to cry.
I think a lot of people can relate to that, and actually to see where you are now, I think is such a powerful transformation. So it's very interesting to me. First of all, that you're even open enough to talk about it. So I appreciate that. But yeah, like where were you? What was going on?
It was like, I went to the military right after high school. That was something I wanted to do. I actually wanted to do military full time, but that wasn't something that my mother wanted me to do, or my dad. My dad is military. They're both prior military. They just didn't agree with me being in the military, and I understand why now, But I still didn't have my heart set on school. I've always been very bright, always been very smart academically, but I just had no passion to walk that stage. I had no passion to do that. Like growing up, I always wanted to dance, I want to sing, I want to act. And my dad, he always said, you got to be more realistic. So every decision that I began to make as an adult or pre-adult, I was making it out of what I was told had to be realistic. And then when I did want to make a realistic decision for myself, like just stay in the military, because I had got so used to basic training, I was like, I'll just do it full time. I can switch over now. Nobody wanted me to do that in my family. It was to the point my mom actually had my college schedule made for me before I even got home. Oh, so going to college wasn't my choice, even though that is the path to success. I never identified with that. Yeah. But here I was doing it, and the closer I got to graduating, the more the reality of you never signed up for this was sitting on me. It's like, I never wanted to do this. And I don't want to do what is supposed to come after this. And what was supposed to come was my mama was going to give me a job at the school that she taught in, and I was going to be an art teacher. That was not what I said I wanted to do. And I hadn't even given myself time to process, Stormi, what do you want to do? Because I hadn't lived life on my own terms yet. So in that space of knowing I got 1 year left, and is this game of school, this freedom of flowing is over, it started to be really heavy, and I started to get depressed. I was like, I don't want to do it, because I couldn't see a way out of that was for me. So I just didn't want to get to that point. So my brain was like, just end it now, just because there's no use. You don't want to do this, but you also don't know what you want to do, but this ain't it either. Like, why am I here? And that's kind of how deep I was in it and the why I was there.
Wow, that's... My God. So you had this like divine intervention moment, which is so amazing that you had that. You said that you heard actual canvas that came to you in the dream, and then the vision statement and everything was in the dream?
Yeah.
And then you told your mom
about
this, and her response wasn't what you expected?
Well, I was.
Oh, okay. So that's like the relationship that you had with your mom.
Yeah, I knew nobody was gonna understand, but I think I had got to the point where I didn't care, because I was just trying to survive. I was trying to feel good. That's it.
My God, I'm so proud of you that you went for it, because it's a lot of like, if your whole life you're being told, you're supposed to do a certain thing, and that's the only example you have, and you just like broke out of it. Yeah. I feel like that divine intervention moment was God talking to you truly. Yeah. And that is amazing that you stepped in. And it's also like your purpose is so big that's why you felt so caged up and ready to just end. Yeah. But you made a choice, and that's so amazing. I'm so proud of you. That is so beautiful. So, okay, so you get this dream, you get this vision, then what? How long was it before you actually started jumping into the business?
So the cool thing about it was around the summertime. Well, it was the summertime, so the semester had just ended. So I wasn't in summer school. I just had to make the choice to go back in August. So the summer, I spent like practicing doing like sew-ins and doing, people's hair. I would call and say, hey, can I do your hair? And it was just something to keep my mind occupied, keep my hands busy, and keep me creative. I've always been a creative. That's why I ended up doing art for school, And
it makes sense, by the way, with the brand and the names of everything. That's amazing. You're an artist.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And after that, I enrolled in hair school. So I started hair school in August. And it was not, my journey still wasn't linear. It was like, you think I'm where I'm supposed to be, but here I am. I was in hair school, and I just felt like, I've always felt like too big for where I was, like mentally. Like, I'm in hair school, every competition that, we would have, I'm like, I want to enter it. But that, I also wasn't in one of them hair schools either where it was like, that was the thing. So I'm entering it, I'm winning first place. It's like, it was just like, why am I here? It's like, this is so fucked up for me to say. I feel like I come from a place where mediocrity is celebrated. And if you try to push the envelope on that, you're made to feel like something's wrong with you.
Wow.
I don't want to cry.
No, it's amazing.
So I grew up like that. And I even felt that in hair school. And it was to the point where I'm in school and I'm like, I don't want to be here, but I need to graduate, right? And I was like, God, just give me a sign. I'm not supposed to be here. Just let me know. And me and my dad, we never get into it. And we got into it about my car note, which is so crazy. It was a $400 car note. And I was like, Daddy, I paid the car note. He was like, you didn't pay the car note. I was like, yes, I did. And I didn't have another $400 to give him. So I was like, I paid the car note. And then we ended up getting into it really bad. And it was like one of those arguments where it was just like almost no coming back from. And I ended up leaving my parents' house. And I moved to Huntsville, Alabama, where I currently reside. Wow. And it was like sink or swim. I went to Huntsville, no money. I had $800, no hair school license. So I'm out here just winging it. And I was like, I'm gonna work at Walmart. I was like, fine, I'm gonna figure it out.
Did you?
No,
okay.
I didn't. I didn't, because when I got there, my husband, his uncle was like, oh, he's a barber. He was like, oh, she wanna do hair? Well, in Alabama, you don't have to have a license to do hair. You can, and you don't have to finish school. You can work under a master stylist as an apprentice, and you can get your license that way. And he was like, I know someone who is a master stylist. I'm a introduce them. So week 1 in Huntsville, I got a chance to meet a master stylist.
Oh my God.
Who could, let me work at her salon, get my hours there to become a stylist. And I remember I went to the thrift store, I got me a little outfit, and I was like, I'm gonna be cute. I had a little blazer, and I could tell when I walked in, like the lady was like, ooh, who's that girl, But when I handed her my portfolio, like her brain was like, oh shit, like she can actually do hair. Like she can do, because I was really good at doing like sew-ins, and they were like coveted at the time. And she was like, how much do you charge? I said, I charge $75. I was so proud, because back at home, I'd done the math. I was like, if I do 4 heads a day, it's $300. I do it every day, So I was already doing my math. And she was like, no, you don't. She said, you charge $175. And I was like, I do? She was like, yes, you do. Wow. And second week in Huntsville, I started working at her salon. I started hustling. I got on the computer. I made flyers from scratch. So I'm just figuring it out in Microsoft Word. I think that was the program at the time. And I started putting them on people's cars. And then I said, you know what? That's normal. What's not normal? I said, Stormi, you have to go on Facebook and you need to befriend every single girl in Huntsville, Alabama, and you need to get in her DMs. And I started sending my flyer in the DM. And I was like, hi, I'm such and such. I'm new here. I work here. And I would love for you to come by. I'd love to do your hair for free. And da-da-da. And I started asking my husband, I was like, who are all of the popular girls here? And I just started getting them in the salon, and I made sure that every time somebody came in, I did the best work I could do. And when they left, the clients started coming in. So I immediately, here I am, my month 1, I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. College dropout, hair school dropout, but right where I need to be. And I'm getting appointments back to back, and I'm doing 16-hour days. I'm making $4,000 some weeks, and it's amazing. But here's the kicker. That same salon that I was in, I had to give her 40% of my earnings. And I did it for like a year or a year and a half. And I ended up from there. I'm telling you, my journey's crazy. I can keep going. So once again, here I am. I'm like, this isn't okay. Like I started to feel like, and I love this lady to death. Like I love her. Like I'll forever be grateful to her. But I think me being so young and vibrant in her salon, doing something that she didn't do, it was almost like I became her possession. Like she owned my talent, you know? And it was like I was finding it hard to get out of that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So you were feeling like in a cage. Like you were,
yeah. Once again. And then I was like, God, I ain't supposed to be here. I was like, because I used to have conversations with her. I used to be like, I never want to leave. I want to be here. And, you know, she would tell me, you know, you're going to be bigger than this. But it was just got to the point where that time was there. And it was like trying to get my license became like a struggle now.
Yeah.
The closer I am to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this ain't right. And I remember somebody calling me one time. They wanted an appointment. They had lost a family member. I wasn't allowed to do hair outside of the salon. And they couldn't come to the salon to get their hair done because they had a child. Kids couldn't be in the salon. I was the only other stylist there at the time too. And I remember, you know, telling the lady, I really contemplated this. I felt really bad. I was like, number one, I want the money, but number two, like she really need her hair done.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me call you back. Let me see what I can do tomorrow. And I sat on, I said, Stormi, I'm gonna do the right thing. So I did the right thing. Here I am, I went to work. I told her I couldn't do her hair. Turns out she knew the ladies who owned the salon. She knew her cousin. And her cousin was getting her hair done that day. And her cousin was like, Stormi, I'm shocked to see you here. I remember this like it was yesterday because it's kind of crazy. Because this was the catalyst. Like this was like the really big turning point in my career. She said, Stormi, really shocked to see you here. This is the cousin. I said, why? She said, I just didn't think you'd be here today. And I was like, why do you think I'd be here? You know, and my brain is like, what's going on? And the lady who owned the salon, she said, what's going on? Like, what is it? I was like, I'm gonna let her tell you. Because at this point it's clicked. Oh, you know I considered doing her hair. And then she was like, oh, Stormi did X, Y, and Z. And then she said something to me. And then I was like, that's not true. And she said something and I can remember it. And I back then, and even more so now, I still got a little temper on me when I want to have one. But back then it was when I didn't want to have one. Yeah. And you know, I'm this meek and mild little creature in this salon, like, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And then it was like she said something and I can't remember what I said, but I kind of snapped on her. Because I felt like she was like snitching on me while also trying to paint me out to be something that I wasn't, because here I am. I was like, but I'm here. I was like, I'm here though. And I remember saying something offensive. I said, can I curse?
Yeah.
I said, bitch. You know?
Yeah, you said that with feeling.
I was like, bitch. You know? And she was like, they both said, who you talking to? I said, I'm talking to that bitch in your chair. What's up, you know? And then they was like, oh, you can get out of here. I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to leave.
You were ready.
But I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
And I started packing my stuff up, and maybe I'm being too candid. Maybe.
You're good.
I started packing my stuff up, and I was like, God has smiled on me. You know, I'm packing all my stuff, and I'm like, And at this point, I think they like, oh, shit, like she's
really out, right? She's okay.
And then I leave, and I sat in the car, and I said, what the fuck did I just do? And I just cried. I had no plan B.
Yeah.
But I snapped.
Yeah.
I was like, it's over, whatever. Yeah. And I called my daddy. The person who landed me in Huntsville, he was my first person to call. I called my daddy. I said, I just cursed that lady out. He said, okay, what happened? And I told him what happened. He was like, no, what you doing right now? I said, well, I'm just sitting in my car crying. I ain't got nowhere to go. He was like, you got some hair to do today? I said, yeah. He said, you going to go home, you going to do them people's heads, and when you're done, you going to get in your car, and you're not going to call me back till you have your own place. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And the moment I got my own place, all that money that I was giving away, the 40%, I could retain it. And I started to grow.
Ooh, come on now. Oh my God. You know what's so interesting?
Why are we crying?
It's so interesting to hear like your relationship with your dad as well. Because while to some degree he was like kind of holding your wings down a bit because that's all he knew, he also has been a supporter, which is amazing, and a catalyst for you. Like that is so amazing. And how interesting that you didn't have a plan, but you still went for it. And I think a lot of people stay in an environment that they've grown out of already.
I think a constant for me was like, I always knew when I was done.
Yeah.
I always knew when the moment had expired. But when I didn't move on that intuition, that's when I had to find out the hard way.
Yeah.
Or go through something so adverse that I had no other choice but to make a change. And I think that's the power of when they say you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you want to grow. Nothing great comes in comfort zones. And every time I knew I was supposed to do something different, I would choose to be comfortable. And in choosing to be comfortable, I was going down the wrong road.
Yeah.
And the moment where being comfortable was no longer an option, that's the moment like everything for me started to just elevate.
Yeah.
And like that has been like a thread and a consistent in my whole story.
Yeah.
Like even after success, like it was always, you don't strive to be comfortable. You strive to test, and you strive to bend, and you strive to be great and be who God called you to be. And when you stop doing that, that's when, if you're a person like me, that when that idleness come in, that's when you start to have, that's when you get in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So
100%. I think that's like the unknown, and that's why you're meant to do everything that you're doing right now. I always say, like, I love playing in this arena of the unknown. That's where the magic happens. That's where greatness happens. That's where you can kind of really step into the thing that you don't even know that you were capable of because it hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
It's in that place where you jump in. So it's so beautiful to hear you just like naturally, nobody taught you this. That's who you are. It's who you were meant to be. So it's so beautiful to hear you talk about that. So you had Canvas Beauty in your heart and in your dream already, and then you went to this salon and you're doing hair. At what point did you actually start the product and the brand?
So that's when I got, my wings a little bit at that point. I was in my own salon. Here I am actually saving money, right, from the work that I do. And I knew how to save because I had to work with 40% less,
Yeah.
And that's when
what a teacher right there.
Right,
the fact that you were making money having to give that 40%, and then you're like, wait, I know how to operate with 40% less.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I automatically became like this master saver. And now when I had ideas, I had enough resources to act on them. So I was known for extensions and wigs and, doing protective styles. And a lot of women would come in my chair for that. And they were always trying to cover up something. They were always trying to hide something. And I was like, you know what? I really want to be able to offer them something that's proprietary to this experience of being here that can actually help them.
Yeah.
They had traction alopecia. It was like so many things that they done or had done to their hair where it wasn't like in their glory. They couldn't just thrive in their hair. And I was like, it's one thing to cover this up, but I want to help it at the same time. And I got so obsessed with the desire to do that I was like, I want to make a hair growth product. And I pulled out all my books from school.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's by coincidence. One of my favorite phases or chapters in school was learning about the way hair grows, like the different phases and states of hair growth. And I started to just obsess over it. I read, I study all night to the point where once again I'm going to sleep and I'm having dreams about ingredients. I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, what's this for? Like, what can this do for hair? And then I got in the kitchen. I started making different products. I started learning about different ways to infuse ingredients together. Because it's one thing, like, first off, like when it comes to hair growth, it's always going to start from within. You can do topical things, and those topical things can help and aid in the growth, but not the retention, right? So I was so enamored with that I'm looking at ingredients, I'm looking at infusion processes to the point where I had mixed the oil together, and I was like, no, this ain't it. And then I was like, put it in the oven. And
this was off of what, like intuition?
Mm-hmm. And then I started, and then like research too.
Yeah.
So I'm researching. And I was like, okay, in order for all of these like ingredients to actually like chemically like merge into each other, they have to go through an infusion process. It's not enough to just to put the oils and mix them together. Because I was using ingredients like biotin, cayenne pepper, MSM, right? And cayenne pepper acts as a hair follicle like stimulant. Like when it touch your scalp, like that heat promotes blood flow to the scalp, which can produce like rapid hair growth. Mm-hmm. So you can't put a solid in an oil. It had to be infused. So I started like baking oils literally in the oven and then like making them. And then I had, for lack of a better word, I'd say testers.
I was going to say.
My client.
Yeah, your client.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about when you're creating a product and having that like feedback loop, I'm sure it takes a bit long to get that feedback with the hair growth. How long was it taking for you to see like this is working?
About 3 months.
Okay, that's actually not bad.
Right. So all my clients are like, I made this. I was like, you mind if I try it on your hair? Mind if I take before and after pictures? All of them were like, sure, yeah. And I started doing it. And women who hadn't had anything, like, they started to see, like, follicles, like, pop back up, like fuzzies. And we were documenting it, and I had, like, the pictures following the process. And then they started seeing it, and they was like, I told my friend about it. It was like, I told my friend about it, and they want some. I was like, but I don't sell it, right? Because this is supposed to be proprietary to my salon experience. You know, this is what I got.
So this was almost like added value to your salon. You weren't thinking about it as something that you'd be selling as a...
not at all.
Interesting.
It got to the point where these women, because I was doing a lot of clients a day. Like, I was probably doing about 10 clients a day. So they were telling their friends, and their friends were telling their friends, and they got the pictures, and then they're like, hey, my friend wanted, I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll make me a small batch, and I'm like, I'm going to put it up on Facebook when I go to place.
Yeah.
I made 200 bottles. I want to say it cost me about $350.
To make the 200.
Mm-hmm. I sold out of them the first night.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well, did you have like a Facebook group
No.
because of your salon? Like, how did that happen?
This was 2015, and everything that I was doing was just on Facebook. I post my work on Facebook.
Yeah.
On my personal page.
So just straight up organic Facebook, people that are following you, they see it and they're buying.
Yep, and I put the before and after pictures up, and I was like, y'all, and I story told. I was like, I made this for my clients. My clients love it. People want to buy it. Got 200 bottles, and I put them up. 200 bottles, sold out, $35 a pop first day.
Amazing.
And it got to the point where, this is 2015, people were asking for it, and I made it sporadically from 2015 to 2018. And I was like, I couldn't do both.
Yeah.
So the sure money, which was doing hair, selling hair extensions,
yes.
it was what I went for. Here we go again,
yeah.
right?
It was time to
Not supposed to be here no more. I knew it. I was like, I should take the jump and like focus on these products, because that's what my new passion was. But I was like, I was making good money as a hairstylist, but I still had to do hair.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have enough. I probably had 2 months of surviving that I could do without doing hair. And I was scared. And I had a really bad salon experience. I had a gun pulled out on me.
What?
Yeah. And it was, it was, I want to say it was 2016, late 2016 that this happened. And it was right after me saying, I know I'm supposed to be focusing on my hair care, but I got to do hair. Girl pulled out a gun on me. The story went viral on social media and all these like tea groups around the city. And I had my first $100,000 month after that.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was like, the backstory was, she said, she brought her own extensions to the appointment, but I put my extensions in her head.
That's why she pulled out a gun?
Yeah, and I got bad hair. I had bad hair, she had good hair, because she sold hair too.
Oh my God.
So it was like this whole narrative to promote her hairline, but then people saw the story, came to my page, and they said, They was like, she don't even look like she'll do that. I want to buy her extensions. So I ended up selling I had a 6-figure month selling hair extensions only online on my website.
Oh my God. Is it, one of the things that's so fascinating for me about your connection, I feel like what I would call connection to source, connection to like your higher self, to God, whatever people believe in, is you get very clear signals.
Yeah.
Number one, you already know from your intuition, like it's time to expand.
Yep.
But I also feel like the way the universe has conspired for you, it is not going to let you stay comfortable. The fact that you had that altercation at the first salon, then you have this gun pulled out on you, it's like very, very clear signs. And on top of that, you are getting direction in your dreams, which is so interesting. You also brought up that you, in your dream, kind of saw some of that like recipe for the hair growth. Is that a common theme for you? Do you?
It is.
And you listen to your intuition?
I do. I definitely do.
What did you always? Because actually, so intuition is very interesting, because I think it's really interesting to get signals and then feel muddied. Like, is that my mind? Is it my intuition? Do you feel like very clear when you get a gut feeling?
Now I do.
Okay.
Back then, I didn't. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was a power or a thing until I started to see the results of not acting in it and acting in it.
Interesting.
Then I started to get more confident in what I had inside of me, like that intuitiveness. I started to get comfortable with it, and then I started to trust it.
Yeah.
So now, 2026, I move in it.
Yeah.
Like, I trust me because I've seen what happened when I don't.
Yeah.
So
when you get a dream, or when you get that voice inside, when you get that feeling, you act fast.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I feel like you're so connected, and I think that your journey has been like these leaps of faith. It's not like little tiptoes in faith. It's like you have to leap, and then you make it through on the other side. And again, I think that's because of your purpose, but I also think it's because you have like that grit to make it happen. Like you're gonna figure it out. Like sink or swim, you're gonna make it happen, and that's kind of like carrying you through this whole thing. So let's jump into the path from starting this first product to when you started to make some significant money, and then we're gonna get into live selling.
Got it. I'm gonna go through this quickly. So,
but don't leave out the good stuff.
So after that point with the gun situation, I started to realize like just because something bad happened to you don't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
Like it can be really good.
Yeah.
And then I kept doing hair. I pushed through it. I was like, but I was also done. I was like mentally didn't want to physically be behind that chair anymore. That moment took a part of me. It did, when it came to my love and my passion for doing hair.
The gun moment?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then I ended up taking a trip to New York in 2018. I'd never been to New York before, and it was so imperative that I had a balcony. I was like, wherever I stay, I want a balcony because I want to see it. And then I'm sitting on this balcony and I'm looking at it and I said, oh my God, like somebody, like, or people, like this vision of New York was a thing. It was like, I felt something. I felt a heartbeat and I felt like inspired. And that was when, it was August 2018, I'll never forget it, August 11th, I said, I quit doing hair. I canceled, I was booked up 3 months out. I canceled every appointment that I had. I went home, I made me a website myself. I sat in the bed and I did it. I launched that website with that one blossom serum on the 15th of August. And very first month, first 30 days in, I had done almost 50,000 in sales.
Whoa, the first month.
First month. And then I used to wake up and I used to study. I make a post and I go to my website. I'm like, damn, how much traffic did that post drive? Because that was my unit of measure. And I would study that, and then I started doing these Facebook competitions where I was like, if you share my post, I'm gonna pick 3 winners to get a bottle of the product, right? And I had a post that had like 100 before and afters in it, and that post ended up having about like 30,000 shares after the course of like a year, because I kept doing that every day. Share it today, and I give 3 bottles away every day. And I had a goal I had to hit. Like in order to keep my numbers, I had to, be over $1,500 a day in sales to like just keep growing. And I would just do that, and then it got to the point where here it is, 2019. I'm about to reset a year. It's going to be another August to August. And at this point, it was October. And I said, you're on track to do the same thing you did last year or less, Stormi. What are you going to do different? You got to do something different. I only knew what I knew. And then I started to just look at other areas of opportunity. I was like, okay, I see people posting in Shade Room. How do they do this? And I figured out how to get a post in the Shade Room. I paid $2,500 at the time for a post. Shade Room might be mad as hell because they don't charge that no more. And that post brought in 20K. And I said, oh my God, I found it. I found my jackpot. I did it again. That next post brought in 14,000. I did it again. It brought in $0.
Okay.
And I was crushed because I said, that ain't the fucking answer. And I knew it was the answer because it was 20K. I was like, oh my God, this is the answer. And that post also came with it was like a high. And then there's like the comments on that third post. I was like, damn, like how did it go from here to here? But that post got people in my inbox. And this marketing company had reached out to me and they was like, hey, yo, we saw your video in the Shade Room. We offer like advertising services for like paid media. And I didn't even know what paid media was.
Yeah, it was so early on.
I didn't know nothing about ads. And they said, we charge $3,500 a month. So here I am. I'm like, well, hell, I just gave Shade Room $2,500 to make $0. So I guess I can lose $3,500 a month, and I did it. I had a video that I made in 2017 with the hope for it to go viral. It did not. They put $1,500 behind that video, and that video brought me in 15,000 in one day. And it did it again.
Okay.
And again.
And that became the consistent thing.
And again.
Yes.
October 2019, I did $800,000 in sales. I went from $50,000 a month to $800,000 in sales.
Wow.
From spending $1,500 a day.
Wow.
And then November had my first $1 million month, 2019. Had my very first $1 million month. I was fresh out my kitchen.
Yeah.
Operating in a 500 square foot building. Me and my husband, no employees. In a matter of 3 months, I had to build an infrastructure to support $1 million months. I had to find a warehouse. I found one, 17,000 square feet. I had to hire people, hired all my friends and family. Everybody could think y'all want a job. Had to figure out customer service, had to figure out every single thing. Lost a lot, of course, because I didn't know. Building in real time. But I also didn't want to slow down because I'm like, I pray for this. I was like, I pray for this. And that's where this art background come into place. I had the ability to make ads that would convert.
Well, okay. So this is like a rise. So what was it about the ads that you feel like was converting so well?
I hope.
It was your personality. It was you just selling it, the storytelling.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. And I kept making the ads and they kept converting.
And this is just you. You're the face.
Yep.
You're okay.
Yep. So here we are, 2020. I did $23 million in sales in 2020. So 2018, 2019, 1 million, 2020, I did 23 million. I thought life was amazing. Ooh. I was like, I won life at this point. I was a winner. Yeah. And then I wanted to do everything that I ever wanted. I wanted my dream car. I wanted my dream house. I wanted my baby. I ended up doing IVF, and it landed me on bed rest. And everything I built, I trusted to the people who I built because I couldn't do it. I legitimately was on bed rest for the first 6 months of my pregnancy because I was high risk. I had a subchorionic hemorrhage. I had brought in a CFO at the time. Didn't know him. One of my paid media guys brought him in. Yeah. He ended up signing my name on some MCAs, merchant cash advances, that had exceptionally high interest. I'm thinking I'm getting grants and free money, and we got like $900,000 in funding, of which we had to pay 2.7 million back. My company had paid 1.1 million back at the time that I found out about that being done.
So you didn't even know all of this was happening underneath?
No, I didn't know. I found out 2022. I'm sitting in my backyard, and no, I'm sorry. 2022. I'm sitting in my backyard in June. And I got a call from my distributor because I was in retail at the time. My products had made their way all the way to Sally's, Target, Walmart, etc. And my distributor said, "Hey, we just got this letter, and it was a judgment saying that you can't give her the funds. The funds go to the MCA company." And same time, I was like, never heard of that before. Same time, I found out everything that I got in the bank is frozen, everything. Now, I was like, I had a little over $1 million, but I couldn't, it wasn't mine anymore. Wow. I had nothing. And I was one of them people, transparently, I didn't operate myself outside of the business. So what I had there was what I had. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. So here I am in the middle of June 2022 with nothing at all. And I sat in silence, and I stared in space, and I said, what the fuck? And I ended up calling my lawyer. He ended up showing me the judgment. He was like, so they got this judgment in New York, and when it was served to the warehouse, was signed for, but you didn't get it. So it was already a thing. And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, it was like nothing. And I sat there for hours, and then it's like, snap out of it. My brain started like solving a million puzzles at one time. It's like, Stormi, what do you have to work with? I'm a firm believer of, you don't have to have a lot of resources. You gotta learn how to be resourceful. Yes. So my brain said, you still have a website. People still buying right now. What you can do, start a new entity, get you a new merchant processor, get that money that's coming in right now, and just day by day that shit. Whoa. And I did that for a year.
You got yourself out of that with sales.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I was running on E. Yeah. Like, it was it was like I owed people stuff. Yeah. Like I owe Amex. I owe stuff, but I didn't have it. Yes. So then I started getting lawsuits for shit that was legitimate because I couldn't really pay stuff that I really needed to because what I had was gone. So, and then it was gone, but it wasn't enough to cover it. And then it was like trying to go back and be retroactive. It still was there. Yeah. So I still had to find a path forward. So my path forward was just to day-to-day hustle, grind. I didn't sleep. 2022, 2023, I didn't sleep. I barely ate. I just was like, you're not going to fail. It's like, God got you here. You have to learn something. This is a lesson. This is not your...
Yeah, it's not the end of the story.
This is not it. And I never believed that it was, even though it was hard. And I just woke up every day trying to make the pieces fit. Like, trying to just make it work. And then I was like, Stormi, what haven't you done? I was like, well, you haven't been on TikTok before. Woo! This is where
is this divine intervention?
Yeah. I was like, well, I've never done anything on TikTok. Facebook is a new place. Like, you know, iOS 14 hit. It's not the same. You can't target the same. You can't speak to people the same. And I started seeing people start TikTok shop stores.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna start me one.
Yeah.
And I was telling everybody, I was like, I'm gonna get on TikTok, I'm going viral. Everybody was like, it's not that easy. I was like, I ain't got no other choice. I'm going viral. I was like, I don't know how, but you ain't finna tell me I ain't, you know? And I started, you know, obsessing over, like, just sitting with myself and saying, Stormi, what do you want to show if you get on this platform? This is the very first place you have to, like, show who you are to a new audience. How do you want to do it? I was like, I just want to be myself. I want to live in my season. I ain't got shit right now. I'm building my brand up, and I have a new product. And I got on there in camo pants and an oversized pink T-shirt with a hat on, looking bummy in front of a whiteboard. And I was like, well, hi, I'm da-da-da-da. And I told my story. I lost everything. I was almost about to lose my house.
Wow.
Yeah, I was always playing that little 4-month game.
How long was that period that you were like
year.
paying back? A year of pay. You were hustling, trying so hard to get money in to pay, but you're on the back foot. Is debt like
June 22 was when shit went left. August 23 is when I went viral on TikTok.
Wow.
So I sat in there for a year. It was like robbing Peter to pay Paul, trying to figure it out for a year.
It's hard to get out of that trap.
Right,
yeah.
Downsizing, still trying to be creative, still trying to be a wife, still trying to be a mom. And then, but always never believing that was my reality.
Yeah.
I was like, God did not give me this for me to
get this far to get this far.
He did not. I was like, life don't work like that. Unless you believe it, dude. But I didn't. And I was like, no, I don't care. Like, nothing bad is happening to me. This is happening for me.
You.
This ain't happening to me. I believe that with every fiber in my being. And then when I got on TikTok, first week, I went viral.
First week. What was viral for you for that first week? How many people, what was that like?
Oh, the video, like millions of views, like 10 million. Yeah. And then
did you have a following already? No, it was
I
just
had like 8,000 followers over there. And then from a store standpoint, so when you first get your TikTok shop store, you don't just get a free-for-all for sales. They cut at that time, I could get 200 orders a day, and then the store would be closed until they open back up. So I get 200 orders in like an hour. And then I'm down for 23 hours. And you have to do that to prove that you can get products out on time, you're a real viable
that they can
business.
trust you, that you actually deliver and all that.
Right. So I was in that for 2 weeks, but I was like, oh, I can't wait to get out of this. I was like, and here it is, I'm in a blessing, it's working. And I'm like, but I can't, I need this money. I was like, I was on set and I was like, I need this money. I was like, do you see that movie? I was her. And I'm like, it's right here. And then shockingly, like normally it takes like 30 days, but I think they saw my store or they saw my, my page doing something. I stayed in it for 2 weeks and they let my store be open. And then boom, immediately, $30,000 days, $40,000 days. Woo! And this is in August, and by the time I got in September, I was back up. I was back up $1 million. Ooh. From nothing.
You had paid all that stuff out?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I had to keep going.
Yeah.
But I was hustling, and by the time like I got to 2024, everything, I cleared it all out, called my attorney. I said, I'm ready to pay everything off. So I ended up paying about $2.5 million in debt off.
Wow.
Yep, and I
off
reset.
Of something that you didn't even sign off for.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I reset.
Amazing. Okay, we talk because your live selling journey is like nobody else's.
Yeah.
Let's take me to the moment where you get invited to TikTok, and this is still a very new world for you, and then your battle off with Jeffree Star.
Yep.
Come on now.
I went viral August 2023. By April 2024, I got invited to be the first person to have a, mega live stream or like a set produced live stream at TikTok headquarters.
Yeah.
I didn't know it at the time, but I was a part of like their alpha program. They were looking for their first $1 million seller. And
because at that point you were hitting the 30, 40, or what was your like high at that point?
So I was having like $2 million months just from the store.
Okay.
And I had went live before, and I had did like 150,000 on live, with no knowledge, no, anything. So they had identified me as a strong potential player to be somebody who could have $1 million live stream with their, with their help, with their coaching, so to say, or with their backing. You know, they was like, hey, you can come here. This is the studio. We're gonna put you with this set designer. You can do whatever you want to do. And I was like, it was like a studio audience. I feel like I got a show.
I done made it.
I was like, I got a glaze show. Like, oh my God, this body glaze, yes. And then, you know, we did this set. I came up with it. I was like, I wanted to be like a bakery because we had all these like scents. And then there was like cameras in the ceiling. I'd never seen that shit before. And I was like, oh wow, you know, and it's like, wow, I felt away. I was like, I'm so excited. And I remember not sleeping that night, and I put my whole little, you know, shebang together. I knew how I was gonna, like, you know, pace through the set. And then, but I didn't know. So here's the thing, they were looking for $1 million live seller. I just didn't know it at the time. I just thought it was a huge opportunity.
You didn't know what the target was. You just knew you got invited.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't know anything. But then I found out I did about $700,000 that day, but only $350,000 was contributed to the actual live.
That in that room.
Right,
that
because I did a very, I couldn't have known. We put our whole
That's still a lot of money.
Yeah, we put our whole
$50,000 in a live.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I set a record.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So that was still a record.
That was still a record. But the problem is I had set my whole store on flash, so people didn't have to come to the live to buy the product. They could just get it from the store. So even though I got the sales, I didn't get it attributed to the live. And then this one I found out was a competition. I'm went back home. I'm on a high. I'm like, yes, I have the TikTok record, you know? And then it's like 2 weeks later, boom, Jeffree Star got the same opportunity that I got, the same studio, and I'm sitting up there watching his like, and then I'm like, how did he do?
Yeah.
They was like, oh, well, he beat you. They was like, oh, yeah, he did like 600K, 550, 600, something like that. And I was like, oh, but I was studying his live, and I was like, oh, okay. I was able to identify like what he did good, what he didn't do good, what I did good from my before, what I could do better. And so I was like, I'm gonna get back in this game, right? And then that's when I knew they were looking for $1 million seller. And I was like, okay, that's the goal. I was like, okay, my next live, I didn't foresee $1 million live for myself. I just saw me beating Jeffree.
Okay, that was the North Star. It was like,
that was it. I was like, let me do that first,
okay.
Right?
So that was like 600,
yeah,
650. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, so I'm like, I can do that, right? And so I had planned a live, and it was my next live from that April live was my next one was June 8th of 2024. And I went in 30 minutes before we're about to go live. I get a phone call, and it's from TikTok, and they let me know another girl. I'm gonna say her name. It's another girl.
She's so competitive.
She said, it was like, oh, she just did 700 last night. I said, who? I was like, I didn't even know somebody else.
You thought it was just you and Jeffree.
Me and Jeffree. And I'm reading and I'm trying to find her. I finally get to her page, and she speaks Spanish and I don't. And I was like, I don't even know what she did. I can't even study it. And I was mad at my whole team. I was like, why y'all tell me that before I go do my live? Y'all just trying to mess me up. I'm mad because I'm like, fuck. Because I was like, that came out of the blue because I was prepared to run a show that could rival Jeffree's numbers. I wasn't prepared for this new person. I wasn't. But I went in there, I swear, I was like, I got the eye of the tiger.
You were right.
And so I was about 3 hours in, I had beat her and him.
3 hours in.
3.5 hours in, right at 3 in. And it was like, everybody was like, keep going. They was like, we doing this today. And I was like, oh my God, are we going for the million? Because I wasn't. I had no plan to go for the million. And I started, you'll get a little, I was just going, right? And then it was like right at the 5 hour mark, between 4 hours, 30 minutes, 5 hours, we hit the million. So that really showed me then that what I was doing was where I was supposed to be.
That was the record they were going for. That's what they were. That was the target. That's the headline.
Was just like, like I want to say the CEO of TikTok from China. He was on the call, like watching. Everybody was so happy watching it in real time.
You know, before I met you, I saw that video
on
social media of the team calling you, and you didn't even realize in the moment that you.
Yeah, because they didn't tell me my numbers. They was just like, keep going. That was like, keep going. I knew when I had beat the other two. I knew because they was like, you did it. I was like, whoo. They was like, but keep going.
What do you think? Okay, there's a lot to break down here because I want to understand a bit about like the back end and the product and what it takes to even be able to scale that and make all of that happen. But what do you think it was about or is about you and the product that got you to that point?
I think it was, whenever I go on live, I treat live just like I'm talking to siblings I always wish I had.
Yeah.
Like it's like familial. It's like family. Like I don't go in there with the intent to sell. I go in there with the intent to tell people about everything I love and about me, my day, my journey, everything. And I think because I always have approached live from that type of personal place and not like, hey, you guys, I got this product. I want you to buy it today. I think the people that are in the palm of my hands are like my family. Like I can feel the love. You can, and it makes me want to share more and be more open and just, tell people about a product, number one, that can be beneficial for them. But also I think the story of it all, my journey in general was aspirational. I think people were rooting for that.
Yeah, and also because you're so real. I've never seen somebody so real selling. I know you even tell people like, people don't really like this product that much. And, and it's like, what? Truth. But the fact that you're willing to do that and be so honest builds that trust. But it's not that easy. It's easy to tell people to be authentic. It's easy to tell people to just be real and be yourself. Was that always natural for you? Or, because I think a lot of times people kind of get in their head. It's like you want to be yourself, but now you have the thought of, what are people thinking? Am I saying the right thing? Am I going to make the sale? So for you, did that just come natural, or was it something that you were able to train?
I like to talk. Even though I always say I'm not necessarily an extrovert, like I grew up alone and I grew up with my thoughts, my ideas, and I'm very passionate about anything that I'm talking about. And I like to talk and I like to connect with people without having to be like in the same room. So I think that kind of worked as like a benefit for me on live. So I never struggled with it. I have struggled before talking on camera. I had dreams of being like a YouTuber before. And I remember talking in front of the camera, I'm like, fuck. And I'm crying, and it's like nobody's there, but I never had that problem on live because like people I could see them talking back.
Yeah, it feels like you're with the people.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I want to quickly go into almost like just some things that I know people who are just getting started would love to know. You are the GOAT at live selling. You are the staple, the standard of it. And it would be so interesting to get your perspective on a few things. So the first one is, do you feel like certain products are more set up to win in a live selling environment than others? And if so, which products do you feel make the most sense?
Okay. So I feel like yes and no.
Okay.
I would say yes because there are niche communities that are stronger than others, right? Beauty, personal care, fragrance, those are like some top selling categories.
Yeah.
You can, especially early on, like you could go onto TikTok and those are gonna be your first go-to. And I think too, like the beauty market for women, like it's a huge industry.
Yeah.
But I also see different verticals growing now. I see fashion emerging. I see some of the stronger players are in the card game world. That's a word I don't even understand. Electronics. Like they're emerging now. I feel like people are gonna find their most success when it comes to person and product if it's a product that they're passionate about. And it's a product that they can infuse their essence into.
Yeah.
And I feel like the most powerful thing that you have on live, especially if you don't wanna just get lost in the sauce, is storytelling and personality. If you got a product that you love, and let's say it's a camera, but if you're able to tell somebody about why you love that camera so much and infuse your essence into it too, then that's gonna be the best product for you. So I wouldn't say there are categories to go into, because here's the thing, like almost every market that you enter is probably gonna be saturated right now. There's a thing called oversaturation, but there's also a thing where you can disrupt it by figuring out a unique selling angle for whatever you have to offer. Millions of people sell moisturizers. I got Body Glaze, right?
Yeah.
But what I was able to do with Body Glaze was share my story about why I created it, from a founder standpoint, but also share my story about problem solution. And I started it, Body Glaze, because I struggled with eczema and I hated lotions. So there was a why behind it, and that why never had anything to do with sales. It always had to do with the problem first and me trying to find my path as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And reset.
So how much of the success of Canvas Beauty brand do you think is because of you as like the face of the brand and this like powerhouse storyteller versus the product?
I would say it's 50-50. I feel like it's 50% me being able to tell people about this product in the best way possible, right?
Yeah.
And it's also me being vulnerable enough to show this process because I'm so in it And then I think it's another layer to it. We may be in thirds now again.
Yeah.
I think God just want me here. And I don't know why. But I feel like what I'm doing is so much bigger than the product and so much bigger than even myself. So I think that's the part that I can't quantify or explain truly.
I love to, it makes me emotional too, because nothing makes me more happy right now in this moment than seeing you actually in your dream and in your vision and in your purpose. It is so clear. Yeah, and there's nothing like more special than that. Yeah, I'm so happy for you.
I cried a lot.
So amazing. I'm honestly so happy for you, and that you've taken the leaps of faith, that you've done the jumps, and yes, your purpose is so huge and you're inspiring so many people.
Thank you.
For someone who is starting out, and with everything that you now know, what do you think are the most important things for a new entrepreneur that wants to start their business, scale their business, and use live selling as like a platform?
I tell anybody that whatever it is on their heart, I feel like God don't give us visions, he don't give us dreams, he don't give us that deeply rooted thing that we don't have the words for if it's not for us. I just tell everybody, you got to start first with just believing that whatever's on you is for you, because that belief will take you further than any plan. I didn't have not one plan for Canvas to be what it is today. I just believed that I needed to take the first step.
Yeah.
And I tell any entrepreneur, if you focus on being able to believe that anything that you can imagine is real, you will get there, because we won't always know the answers. My path may not be somebody else's. Yours may not be what you even plan for it to be. But if you believe that your now will get you to your end vision, how don't matter. Just remove the how. I couldn't have told somebody after 2022 I lose everything. Hell, I thought I won life. You know? If I knew that that was a part of my journey, I probably wouldn't have went down that road. You know? So I tell people, just have so much faith in the belief that you have surrounding what you feel on the inside, and if you take every step towards that and every decision that you make is with that in mind, you're gonna get to where you gotta go, because that's the first step. You gotta believe it. A lot of people have these ideas, I wanna do this, I wanna do this. They don't really believe they can. So the moment that something comes that's not aligned or doesn't feel good or feel a part of how they feel like it should be, you don't see them no more. You don't hear from them no more, because they couldn't withstand adversity because they never believed in it in the first place.
There you go. Okay, something very, actionable that we can leave people with as well. When you look at brands and founders that blow up, on, let's just say live selling, but generally TikTok Shop or just as a brand online, when you're looking at that versus the ones that don't, what are the three things that you think are fundamental and key to a brand actually blowing up? And let's say on live selling.
If you're talking founder brands, you gotta be authentic. I see a lot of people in the space, even with my journey, I see a lot of people trying to do everything I did. That's not authentic to them. Right? I always say, like, if you're trying to blow up on TikTok, or you're trying to go viral, or you're trying to like be in live selling and you're the founder of the brand and you have a product, you got to find what's authentic about you, be willing to share that, especially if you want to be the face, and you got to figure out what's authentic about your product. I used to do this thing where I wouldn't look at nobody else because I didn't want to be lost in what they was doing. And if I did look, I would look for what they weren't doing, not for what I could replicate.
Ooh, so that's a gem right there.
I would look and see, what didn't she do? Or what didn't he do? Because that's the area of opportunity. My opportunity is not to go and copy them. My opportunity lies in the market or the moment that's untouched. So I would tell any founder who wants to be the face of their brand, figure out what that is. And then go down that road and figure out how that resonates with you and how it can support your mission. So that's kind of what I say to people.
Amazing. I love it. I appreciate you so much. I know we have so much more we can talk about. We're going to have to do part 2, 3, and 4. And obviously we're about to have dinner, so we'll talk a lot more. This is just the beginning. I'm so excited to see the rise, the continued rise. And I'm so beyond proud of you. And thank you for the conversation. I know people are going to be so inspired. So
I talked a lot.
Amazing. No, it's so good. It's such a good chat.